If the Linux terminal has ever felt like a dark room you're afraid to walk into, this short tutorial is going to turn the lights on. Together, we'll learn how to move around in Linux using just a handful of small commands. By the end, you'll know how to figure out where you are in the system, see what's around you, and step into any folder with confidence. We'll meet 4 little tools along the way: pwd, ls, cd, and a few handy shortcuts. Here's the path we'll take together. We'll start by getting a feel for how Linux organizes its folders, like a tree, then learn to ask the system where you currently are. From there, we'll peek inside folders to see what's around, step into them with cd, and finally pick up a few shortcuts that make jumping around feel effortless. 6 small steps, and each one builds gently on the last. So let's start with the big picture. In Linux, every file and folder lives inside one giant upside-down tree, and the very top of that tree is just a single slash. That's the root. Branching off it, you'll find folders like home, where everyone's personal space lives, and yours sits inside it at hot home parnalazlo, which you can also write as a little squiggle, tilde. Other branches like etc, var, and usr hold system files, and that's it. No C drive, no D drive. Everything hangs off that one slash. Now that you know the tree exists, the next question is simple. Where on it are you standing right now? That's what pwd answers. It stands for Print Working Directory. And when you type it, the shell replies with your exact location, something like home Laszlo projects. Your prompt often hints at it too, but pwd is the one that's always certain. So anytime you feel a little lost, just run pwd and the terminal will tell you exactly where you are. Once you know where you are, the natural next step is to look around. And that's what ls does. On its own, it simply lists the files and folders sitting in your current location. Add a little L, and you get the long view with permissions, sizes, and dates. A reveals the hidden files whose names start with a dot. And LH makes those sizes human-friendly, like 4K or 2M instead of raw numbers. And here's a nice touch. Does etc. lets you peek into another folder without ever leaving the one you're in. Now that you can see what's around you, let's actually move. The command is cd, short for change directory, and you just tell it where you'd like to go. Type cd projects to step into a folder right next to you, or cd opware, etc. to jump to an exact spot anywhere on the system. Need to go several levels deep. Something like cd var log gets you there in one move. And if you ever feel lost, just type cd by itself to return home, then pwd to confirm exactly where you landed. You may have noticed those cd commands looked a little different from each other, and that brings us to one of the most important ideas in the terminal: absolute versus relative paths. An absolute path always starts with a slash, like home Laszlo docs. It's the full address from the very top of the system, so it works no matter where you currently are. A relative path, like just docs, has no leading slash, and it means starting from wherever I'm standing right now. Shorter to type, but it only works if you're in the right place to begin with. Speaking of relative paths, there are 2 tiny shortcuts you'll use constantly. A single dot means this folder right here, and 2 dots mean the folder one level up, the parent. So if you type cd ... you step up one level. Chain them together with a slash, like ... and you climb 2 levels at once. You can even combine them with a folder name, cd. Projects jumps up 1, then straight into projects. Small symbols, but they'll save you a lot of typing. Now here's a shortcut you'll fall in love with, the tilde symbol. That little squiggle above the tab key. It's a stand-in for your home directory. So typing cd tilde takes you straight there, and cd on its own does exactly the same thing. The real magic is that tilde always means you're home, no matter where you've wandered off to. So whether you're deep in etc or lost in var log, adding stigia projects gets you home in a flash. No need to spell out the full path every time. And here's another little gem. cd followed by a dash. Think of it as your back button. It takes you to the directory you were just in. So if you jump from your home folder over to var log, A quick cd dash snaps you right back. Run it again, and you're back at var log. It's a toggle, really. Perfect for when you're bouncing between two spots and don't want to retype long paths. Now, what if you're juggling more than two folders? That's where pushed and popped come in. Think of it as a stack of bookmarks. Every time you run pushed with a path, you jump there and save your previous spot on top of a pile. Then popped peels off the top bookmark and takes you back, one step at a time. Type deers anytime to peek at the whole stack. It's totally optional, but once you're hopping between 3 or more folders, it really starts to click. Now here's the single biggest time saver in the terminal, and I genuinely mean it. The tab key. Start typing the first few letters of a folder or file. Hit tab, and if there's only one match, the shell finishes the name for you. So cd doc plus tab becomes cd documents. If several things start the same way, tap tab twice and you'll see all the options laid out. No more typos, no more guessing. Just type a little and let the terminal do the rest. With tab in your toolkit, let's gather a few small recipes that make moving around feel safe. Try chaining commands with double ampersands. Padal, tas, and ls tells you where you are and what's around you in one breath. Lsla reveals everything, including the hidden files that start with a dot. cd steps up one folder, and cd downloads, analyze jumps straight home and shows you what's there. And don't worry if you mistype a path. The shell will simply say no such file or directory and leave you exactly where you were. Speaking of error messages, let's decode the few you'll bump into most often. No such file or directory usually means a typo or you're not where you think you are. A quick pwd clears that up. Not a directory means you tried to step into a file, which folders aren't. Permission denied means the system is politely saying you don't have the key to that door. And cd, too many arguments almost always means a folder name has a space in it. Wrap it in quotes and you're back on track. That last one is worth a closer look because folder names with spaces trip up almost everyone at first. The shell reads spaces as separators, so typing cd my documents looks like two arguments to it, not one folder. The fix is simple. Either wrap the name in quotes, like cd my documents, or put a backslash before the space to escape it. But honestly, just start typing the name and hit tab. The shell handles all the escaping for you. One more little gift from tab completion. Now that you've got a few commands under your belt, let me give you a mental model that ties everything together. Whenever you feel lost in the terminal, just ask yourself 3 simple questions. Where am I? Run pwd to see your current location. What's around me? Run ls to see what folders you can step into, and where do I want to go? Use cd to move there with either an absolute or a relative path. Pwd ls cd. That's the whole rhythm of navigation. And here's a little cheat sheet to keep all of that handy. You've already met pwd, ls, and cd in their main forms, but notice a few new friends here too. Cydia jumps you back to the previous folder you were in, which is wonderful when you're bouncing between two places, and the tab key, press it while typing a name, and the terminal will autocomplete it for you. Trust me, tab will quickly become your best friend. So let's pull it all together. Just 3 commands, pwd, ls, and cd, really do carry you through almost everything. Remember that paths come in 2 flavors. Absolute ones starting with a slash from the root, and relative ones starting wherever you happen to be. Keep those little shortcuts in your pocket. Tilde for home, dot for up, dot for here, and lean on tab every chance you get. That's really all you need to move around with confidence. Now it's your turn. Open up a terminal and walk through these 7 little steps in order. Start with pwd to see where you are. Jump over to etc. Look around with ll, step back up, then hop home with the tilde, and finally use cd dash to bounce back to where you just were. Here's the trick that makes it stick. Before you press enter, say out loud where you think you'll land. When your prediction matches reality, navigation stops feeling like guesswork and starts feeling like second nature. And that's really all there is to it. 3 little commands, pwd, ls, and cd, plus a few shortcuts and the tab key, and the terminal stops feeling like a dark room and starts feeling like home. If you'd like to go further with Linux, the command line, or DevOps, head over to dargslan.com for courses, cheat sheets, and tools. And if this helped you, a quick subscribe, like, or share means the world. Happy navigating!